Hello, good day and welcome to Lucav-howto. In today's video, we want to talk about Constraint Attribute Rule, which is our fifth episode. In the past, we have dealt with other types of attribute rule. Today, we want to talk about Constraint Attribute Rule. So what is Constraint Attribute Rule? The Constraint Attribute Rule are sets of rules that ensures that specific conditions are met on our feature. It is useful for preventing erroneous data from being captured. Let's give a brief recap of our previous videos on attribute rule. So, the calculation rule have two types: the immediate calculation and batch calculation rules, which are more tilted towards generating data, while validation and constraint rule towards ensuring quality control and quality assurance of our data. We have done justice to the calculation rules and the attribute rule. We even conducted a video that addresses creating multiple fields using batch calculation rule. So I will advise you visit our channel to watch those videos, as they will form a good background for attribute rule. In today's video, like I said, we want to dwell on constraint attribute rule. So we want to paint a scenario where we'll be creating points within Nigeria across the local government areas, and we have a field that will capture the local government name for each of the point of interest we create. We'll set rules that will ensure that the correct local government names are the only ones to be accepted, and it will prevent any erroneous spelling of local government names, or where it is left empty, or where a point is attempted to be created outside of the Nigerian boundaries. So what are the data requirements for this project? We'll have our point of interest as usual, and then we will have a local government polygon feature that will be used to validate the point of interest. These rules to be set will ensure that the local government name, when creating the point of interest, will not be left empty. We'll also ensure that the correct local government name is captured. We will try to address cases of capitalization, case mismatch, or leading or trailing spaces. And then we'll also ensure that the points are created within the Nigerian boundaries. So where a point is attempted to be created outside of the Nigerian boundaries, it will flag error and prevent entry. So what are the steps we'll follow? We will create Geodatabase, and then have the local government boundary map imported into the Geodatabase. We'll also have our point of interest created, and then we'll ensure that it has a field that will capture the local government name that is supposed to match with the local government polygon map. And then we will generate global IDs, and after generating global IDs, we will proceed to configure the attribute rule that will be powered by an ArcGIS expression. So let's go to the demonstration. So what we are talking about, we have our point of interest here. We also have the local government, the LGA. So let's bring it in, and let's quickly label it. Let's label, and then let's use the local government name. Yeah. So we want to create points. Let's attempt to create points and see exactly what we are talking about. So let's try to add new points. We'll go to create, and then we'll come to POI, and then let's come to Toro and try to create a point, and immediately this is the error message that it flagged to say you are required to provide an LGA name. So let's provide the LGA name to rule. Okay, and let's attempt to create it, and it's okay with it. It's happy, saying create POI complete. Let's use that same point to create here. This is another local government. Let's see the name. I think it's around the DAS local government. So let's give it the name DASS, and it's happy with it also. Now let's go to Fika and enter Fune, right? Fune. Let's try to create, and it said no. But when you click here with the Fune, it takes it immediately. Let's also go to another rule that we set. We said it should not take any point outside of Nigerian boundary. And let's see the error message saying the point is outside of Nigerian boundaries. So let's go straight and see how to configure the attribute rule. So we have our two feature classes, the point of interest and the local government. We want to use the local government like we mentioned earlier. Both feature classes have are expected to have a common attribute, which is the local government. So we want to create points that the local government name must correspond to this local government name in this local government polygon. So the rule will be set, but when the rule is set, it will prevent erroneous data entry. But for now, let's take a look at what we're talking about. So let's try to create points and see. So it's just accepting null values. You can even just give it any local government name. Let's say AMAC, and then it will begin to create points with erroneous local government names. So let's take a look. It has already created and given all these AMAC. This is not what we want. So the constraint attribute rule will not allow any erroneous data entry. To configure the constraint rule, we will have to first of all generate a global IDs. I'll come to manage, and then here it's already generated, as you can see. So when this is checked, it's generated. If it is not generated, it will allow you to check and generate. So that is done. And just to let you know, you can create an attribute rule, configure attribute rule from the content pane. Come to design, and then you go to attribute rule. Alternatively, you can come to the Geodatabase, come to the feature you want to create the attribute rule on, and then right click, and then data design, and then attribute rule. Even the one on the content pane is actually referencing this, and attribute rule always reference the data store, which is the Geodatabase. So let's create the attribute rule around the point of interest point feature. So go to data design and then attribute rule. From the attribute rule, we'll go to constraint and say add rule. The rule will just say and then we are not giving any subtype. The trigger, we want when a new data set is entered, it should immediately trigger, or when it is updated, when the attribute table is updated, it should also trigger. So we are checking this too. So this local government name is our main interest, and that is what the constraint will be looking at. And then we will ensure that we check the exclude from application evaluation, and we'll give it an error number so that when the wrong entry is made, it will trigger with this error number and the error message. So we'll call it 101, and message we will give it invalid record entry. Tag, we can just say POI, and then we'll just go straight to the expression. The expression, in our previous videos, we have been building our expression from scratch. Today we will import. So we have already pre-configured, generated an expression, and so we can navigate to the folder and file, and then so this is the expression, and the expression will what we'll do is to comment on the expression. So this first code, this is the actual active feature, the feature you want to create, and it's usually $sign feature, and then we are using the geometry. We are using the geometry of the feature, and then we are storing it with a name called LGA POI names. And here, so here we want to comment it active feature. So this is the active feature. Here we want to bring in the polygon. The polygon is an external entity, so we have to use the feature set by name expression to load. We are going to the actual name on in our data store. In our Geodatabase, we have an entity called LGA. So we are going there to get it, and then the fields we are interested in is the LGA name, and this is the syntax for bringing it. Then after we have loads the LGA all up to this point, we are intersecting it. So we are saying intersect the new feature you are trying to create with the LGA, and pull out the actual LGA that is intersecting. All the way from here to here is the intersection, and then here we are pulling out the actual LGA. And so in this case we are interested in the polygon in the local government, so it will only be one local government. It's not more than one local government. If we are interested in the points and we create a lot of points, then we may have more than one, and so if we use first, it will just randomly pick the first one. But for the local governments, when we have the points intersecting with the polygon, local government polygon, it's actually one local government it can be able to intersect with. And so the first one is that local government. So this is it. And with this, we can actually pick our interested fields. In this case, we specify only the LGA name, so it will not be able to reference any other attributes. Then here, we must have to carry out this to check whether the intersection is empty, because we don't want it to keep flagging this error. It will not allow us to proceed if we don't make this check this. So if the intersection is done and it's empty, that means it's outside of it's not intersecting with any local government. And in this case, we don't just want to leave it, we want to flag it, because that's one of our rules. We want to say if the result intersection is empty, decline entry, or it should not proceed. So we flag an error message. So we flag an error message the moment it's outside of Nigeria. When it is not intersecting with any of the local governments, then it will flag this error message. So this is one of our rules that we set. And then when a new point is created, one may be tempted to just create points without providing the required LGA name. So it will not allow you, the system will not allow you to proceed. So this is the rule that we set to prevent you from proceeding. The moment you click to add a point, it will flag an error. So this is the error. So let me say here, let me be rude. Okay, this code prevents you from proceeding until the LGA name is entered. So at this point, we're not bothered about whether the LGA name is correct or not, but you must have to provide something. So this is what this code is doing. And then here is going detail to say the LGA name must be correct. It must be correct. So this is the feature, the active feature you're trying to create. And then we have the polygon, the LGA polygon here that we've created earlier. So we are invoking the LGA name as it is captured in the polygon. And here, remember we captured our LGA name in the point of interest attribute table. We capture its LGA name. So we are saying the both of them must be equal to each other. So the LGA name must be equal to the LGA name as captured in this is. So when you enter it and you enter with any wrong spelling, it will trigger the error. So this code will flag an error when the LGA name of the POI is not correctly spelled. So when it's not correctly spelled, it will trigger an error. And so if all these are satisfied, then it should return true. And true means that it has passed the test. So let's go ahead and save our attribute rule. Let's save it and proceed to attempt to create the points. So let's go and then let's try to create a point. So here we have wase. So let's remove here. And so it has already flagged. You are required to provide the LGA name. So let's try to provide the LGA name wase, and then see create POI complete. So it has already created. Let's go to another point. Lafia at this point is also saying you are required to provide a valid LGA name. So let's call it Lafia, and I think it's around here until we get the actual point. So let's see. Oh, Lafia, I hope it is spelled correctly. Yeah, so point is created. Now let's go to the one that restrict us from creating points outside of Nigeria boundary. So let's try to create here, and let's see, say the point is outside of Nigerian boundaries. So this is what we are talking about. It's a simple way to configure, but you can actually get more complex ones. We can actually go further to use the to refine it so that it will not bother to check case sensitivity. So to refine the codes to address issues regarding case mismatch and then leading and trailing spaces, we'll just come here and tweak, put some logic. So let's start with proper. Proper will convert the cases to proper case. So come here and say proper. And so you are saying the active feature, the point of interest feature name, whatever thing that is imputed, it should convert it to proper case. So you also converted the local government in case any of them is not in proper case, so that both the local government and point of interest will all be proper. And let's check. Yeah, so it's valid. We will also come here and then trim it in order to remove leading and trailing spaces. These are all text function. Come here also and say trim. Let's see whether it's going to work. Yeah, so it's verifying. So you say okay, you save it, you come to your constraint rule, enter, and here all capital, so say laugh here, it will still accept. But before now it wouldn't have accepted because it was case sensitive. So this is what we mean. Thank you very much for watching, and continue to visit our channel to get more insightful